And welcome to yet another YouTube Extra. This is Adrian McMurray, and thank you for joining us for our Origin Game 2 for 2011 preview. And joining me to take a look at this epic encounter, it's Matty Trodden.
Thanks, Adrian. Good to be here once again. We've kind of been off air for a little bit, not even full podcast. So, yeah, it's been good, and obviously very, very excited about Origin 2 down here in Sydney.
That's it. The game takes place on Wednesday night. And we'll take a look at who's in and who's out for each of the sides. So for New South Wales, Will Hopoate comes in, as does Watmo, Hayne, Gidley, Lewis and Minicello. And out goes Jennings through injury. Jason King, well, that was primarily due to form, but now he's injured as well. Brett Morris on the wing, injury. Dean Young's fallen out of favour. Cade Snowden, an injury, I believe. And Dugan, of course, through injury. And who's in and who's out for Queensland, Matt?
We've got two changes for Queensland. Greg Inglis returns, as does Dave Taylor, who was at 8th man for the first game. And Willie Tonga is out with injury. Of course, he got injured in the last Origin game with his shoulder. And Jacob Lillyman drops out for Taylor's return.
So we've got two pretty different teams there in terms of changes. Of course, probably a bit unfortunate for the New South Wales side that they have had so many players out through injury. But the players coming in look pretty handy as well. And we're going to take a look at two of the inclusions who are our game breakers. So first of all, Matt, who is your game breaker?
I've gone with one of the Queensland players, Dave Taylor. I think his form for South has been a bit up and down. He's been pretty good during the season. But he's one of those destructive players that you want on every side. Coming off the bench for Queensland, I really think he can do some damage late in the first half and maybe late in the second half as well. And yeah, he provided that little bit of a go forward. They've got a great back row or great forward pack altogether, Queensland. I think he just provides that little bit of extra punch for a New South Wales side that defence was very, very good in the first game and will be tested once again by Queensland.
Yeah, he's a good one. Now, my game breaker is Kurt Gidley coming off the bench. I think he provides tremendous utility value. And I think good on him. You know, he was the captain the last few seasons, the last few Origin series, pardon me. And, you know, he hasn't kicked up a stink about not being the captain anymore. He's just slotted into the setup, the new setup now. And I think he's happy to be back. And I think he really just wants to win the game for his state. So we were talking about this before we started. He'll probably come in at 9, straight swap for Ennis, you were thinking. So he'll provide some spark out of dummy half, especially when the Queensland forwards, they're pretty big and they can get tired. So he'll be handy there, probably in the middle of the game. And also he provides excellent cover if pretty much anyone in the back line gets injured. So Gidley, for mine, should be a big influence on Game 2. Now, we'll take a look at a couple of the big issues coming into this game. And probably what's been talked about the most over the last week or so is the lack of props and picking players out of position. This is primarily a New South Wales related issue. So what are we thinking here? Is this a concern to the New South Wales side, or is it going to be beneficial?
It's kind of hard to tell. I think, really, Jason King they said, he's been defended by saying he did a lot of defence in the first thing. His first hit, he took the second hit up of the game and tried to offload a ball that just wasn't there to offload. That pretty much summed up his night. He was quite poor, I think, and he got dropped, as he probably should have. But, yeah, I don't think it's too much of an issue for New South Wales. Paul Gallen, who's been named at prop, will pretty much play. He does play like a prop now, just on a fringe, so he'll be able to play a bit tight. It does help their mobility a lot. One thing with King and Snowden, they're not very mobile. They're big, but New South Wales have a lot more speed, agility in the forwards, and I think that may be able to help them. As long as their defence stays true, I really don't think it should be a massive issue for them.
And I like the variety as well. You know, the players on the bench like Cray and Lewis and that. Well, Lewis is probably more of an edge player, but definitely Cray play a bit of prop, I'd imagine, at some point during the game, and mixes it up a bit. We're not just fighting like with like, we're not just sending the big blokes just hit it up in there. Leg speed, that's a buzzword as of late, as I'm sure you're aware. they've got good leg speed. So
Yeah, well, essentially, as you mentioned, the three back rowers, well, primarily back rowers on the bench, are all different type of back rowers. I mean, Watmo could probably spend a bit of time. Will probably spend a bit of time in the front row as well. I mean, Watmo's more of a hole runner. Got Lewis, which does a bit more ball playing, plays a bit of an edge, does run holes as well. And well, you saw Cray's got that massive fend. Could play a bit of front row, good footwork as well. So there's three players on that bench that could all. What Lewis probably excluded. Two of them could play in the front row, and we'll just add something different each time they come on.
okay, and probably a player that's been, well, talk about a bolter. He's one out of the blue. Will Hopoate's been selected in the centres to replace Michael Jennings. Is it a good move? You know, there's a lot of been talked about the edge players and the players playing in tight, right? He's been picked as a centre, yet he plays on the wing and at fullback for his club side. What's the thinking behind this move?
I think from what I've heard, it's as you mentioned, edge players. So he plays on the left wing for New South Wales, and therefore he's playing left centre. Plays in the wing for Manly, and he's been picked at left centre for New South Wales. So it's not a massive change for him. To be honest, there aren't a whole lot of left centres of that quality going around. A lot of people will say that Idris should come back in, but really he's a right-sided player. And if anyone saw his performance for Australia on the left side in the second half, he was struggling. To one point, he actually ran out at halftime and ran to right centre. So he was going to struggle on the left every time. So I agree to a degree with the decision, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting. We'll see how he goes anyway. As you said, there's probably not too many options. It'd be good if Cooper was available and still wanted to play. He's been going all right, but we'll see if Hopoate can go all right in game 2.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. I think that obviously Cooper, he's injured at the moment, but he's been going very well. And also, it's very much a shame that Chris Lawrence is injured because he would have been there game 1, certainly at that left centre position. The second big issue, really, I thought coming into this game was more of an off-field issue. Ricky Stewart's proposal to try and turn Homebush into a Caxton Street-like feel in the lead-up to the game. Now, there was, of course, road closures and whatnot, which happens at major events out at Homebush. And the New South Wales team are staying at one of the hotels, the Novotel, I believe it is, just across the road from the ground. But he's had to, of course, do the route for the bus to get from that hotel into the ground, and decided that he's going to publish that and try and get New South Wales supporters behind them to try and make it a bit of a feel like a Caxton Street in Queensland. So what do you think about this one, Adrian? Do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah, I think in principle it's all right. I don't know how many fans are going to get there prior to the game. I mean, it's not that a huge amount of like taverns situated on the actual route around Homebush, I don't believe, but it could be all right. I mean, as long as everyone gets on the bus this time. I mean, Hayne and Ennis are back together in the side, so I'm just concerned about that. As long as they all get on the bus.
Yeah, well, Craig Young is also there, and his son was, of course, omitted from the game, so there might be a bit of a business there, maybe.
But I think they're trying to start new traditions, right, with the new coach and the new administration coming in. So I think why not try this, see if it works, and if it doesn't, well, we'll just leave Caxton Street to Queensland.
Yeah, they are. They're encouraging, of course, the transport people and the events people, all encouraging people to get out early. I think this is probably a bit of a reason to get out there early. I mean, there's the brewery, which is of course underneath the team hotel there, and I believe they set up kind of outdoor bar type things around the ground just in the lead up. So it could be a good idea if they kind of get everyone just lining up along the street and try and get them to get that feel. I think it'll probably give a bit of a boost to the players and maybe put a bit of scare into the Queenslanders maybe.
All right, we'll finish things off now with a tip. So last time you tipped Queensland successfully. Who are you backing in game 2?
I'm going to stay true, go New South Wales here. I really think they showed a lot in that game 1 that their defence has tightened up, and at home I just don't think Queensland will be able to get the extra push once New South Wales get in front. I think they will just scrape home. I'm thinking tight probably in the first half and hoping New South Wales to run away with it in the backstage of the game.
That sounds like a good tip. I'm going to go New South Wales by about, let's go 8 points. I think they'll get the job done. Goal kicking shouldn't be a problem. And hopefully Jamie Soward can get some good tactical kicks in throughout the game. Put us in good stead. Yeah, New South Wales, let's win this one, all right? I think that'll do us now. Matty, thanks for joining me to discuss Game 2, and thanks to everyone for joining us on our YouTube channel. You can also get us through Facebook, facebook.com/who's playing who, Twitter, Twitter's big growth area, twitter.com/who's playing who, our email, who's playing who @gmail.com, or our website, of course, who'splayingwho.net. And we'll have all the reaction from Game 2 and plenty more on our next podcast, which should be up at some point during the next week or so, I reckon.
Stay tuned, everyone. Hope you're excited for the return of the podcast.
No doubt, no doubt. And remember, for next Wednesday, all that matters is who's playing who.